Hey y'all, how many of you have unfinished art hanging around your studio? Because I am the queen of unfinished art, especially works on paper. I have piles, and what I like to do with those piles is if I'm really just not getting somewhere with a piece, I will chop it up into something smaller. So this piece right here, it started off as a drawing, and then I started painting on top of it. And I literally, did I write a year? Sometimes I write the year on the back of my pieces when I start them for my own amusement and entertainment to see how long has that piece of paper sat in my studio before I have touched it. I've actually had pieces like I started them 10 years ago and then I come across it and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do something with this. And usually I do something with it. But you can see, so it started as a drawing, then I started painting on it, then I mono printed on it, and then it's just been sitting. This has probably sat for about a year maybe. This was the same. I started off with some shapes, started to paint on top, and then I was like, let me mono print on this and see where it's gonna go. And they didn't go anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut these two pieces down into small artist trading card size, which is 2.5 by 3.5. And I'm actually going to, I'm about to participate in an artist trading, swap. And so I just thought I'll show you how I do that, just because it's fun. It's actually fun. It's actually fun to cut pieces down, from something really big. Now I like this one and I could keep working on it, but I'm totally good to chop it. So most of what I find interesting is around the edges. So I'm actually going to start, I think I'm going to start on this. I'm going to cut this strip off first because I really like everything that's going on. I'm going to use, I could totally cut this with a paper trimmer. I actually prefer a ruler, a straight edge, and a knife. It's just my go-to method. This is 12 by 12. I think I want the 3 to go this way, the 3.5. So I'm just measuring on my table, finding the right line to cut on, and it is this one. And I'm not gonna bore you with cutting this entire sheet, because that would be terribly boring. But I'm just going to show you how I go about doing it. And one more pass. All right. Whew, I like this already. So now I've got my 3.5. Now it's just a matter of chopping all of these down into 2.5, which I think is 1, 2 here. They always look so cute, small. Look at this little guy. All right, one more, or maybe a few more. 1, 2.5. I feel like when you cut with the blade, it gives you a very crisp, clean edge. Sometimes 1, 2.5. When I cut with the paper trimmer, if that trimmer blade is not super sharp, you're gonna have some fuzzy edges. It's just not, I'm anxious to, I want to cut this part out. and see what it looks like. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm actually only gonna get one out of this, yes, and I'm gonna go with that. So what I'm doing is I'm judging, do I want this side, oh, which I really do like, or do I want this side? Y'all, I'm going with this side. I can't believe I'm actually gonna say that, but that's what I'm gonna do. 1, 2.5. And so what I'm gonna do is this little piece, this can be used in a collage later. These, they're not completed. I wouldn't consider these finished works of art. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embellish them with either collage or drawing on them. So I am going to ponder what I want to do and come back and show you that process. Hey y'all, here we are. I've got them all cut and I just laid them out just so I could get a view of them, you know, I'm just taking them in. And what I have here is a pile of strips from other collages that, you know, pieces cut off that that I keep. I save more than I should save, but they come in handy for times like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm really just gonna try to find areas, like I like this one, seems to go well there. I like this neon on this one. Not so much this green bit, but maybe the green bit would look good elsewhere. So this is how I do this. I just go about, it's really just playing and making, I'm not committing to anything. I'm just laying out some thoughts. Ooh, that one. And I can commit later. I think I like this one here. So I'm gonna I'm gonna spread them out a bit. And I have some Posca paint pens here, mainly because I just kind of wanna play a little bit, get a little extra color on some of these. You can see this is really, it's spontaneous. It's totally spontaneous. I feel like I want yellow in these dots. You just feel your way around. What's fun about working on a bunch of them all at one time is it truly encourages the, I don't know, nope, I'm gonna leave it. I was gonna make that turquoise pop, but I just changed my mind. I am going to circle these. Just see where these go. So you get the idea. I hope you get the idea that it's literally just playing around, making some decisions. I've got this pen at where else do I want to put the turquoise now that I'm just kind of drawing around, looking around. I've got this chunky one and I've got these marks right here, so I might use this one. I don't know that I want to go over them, but I might do this. I say might. I might do this as I'm actually doing it. Ha ha. You're literally just making, you're just making choices and just doing it, just going with it. Let's see. I feel like, there we are. that one feels really good. Maybe I want one collage element to go there, maybe not. Not sure. I kind of like that little circle action, so I'm just gonna do that. So see how when you work in this way, like the pieces begin to inform the other pieces. You'll make a decision on one, and then you'll say, oh, well, I really like that. I want to go do it on the other one. This one I'm actually gonna color over. See how fun? This is fun. It's if you're one that kind of like gets up in your head, which I do often, I admit it, I often get kind of stuck in my head and I can tend to get rigid. This is a great practice. Take art that's not finished, chop it up into a bunch of little pieces, and then decide what do you want to do with it? Where do you want to go with that piece? Now I'm going to grab some red. This may not show up. Oh, look at that. It does. Who knew? The only thing you kind of have to be careful of is like if a piece is wet and you're going into, I mean, you know, use your brain. Use your brain. That sometimes I forget to use my brain. Or you just get caught up in the moment and you, did I just do it? I just did it. I just did. See how fun this is? This is fun. Okay, I'm going to keep working on these. I feel like you've got the idea. I'm not going to film every single little thing that, I've got to get that off my finger before I stamp it onto something else. I'll go through a few more little collage pieces just to, I love these turquoise ones. Ooh, I like that. So I might put that one here. And I'll glue these on and then I'm not going to let them hang off. I would trim. Ooh, this is pretty. I will trim them. I feel like these need red in them. But a tiny little piece of collage. You see how like that could make a difference, or maybe it needs to be this right here. Just a little, you know, and adding, could I make that, like color that in with Posca? I could, but it's more interesting with the torn paper. This piece is so magical. It's got to go somewhere. I need to put it somewhere. I might put it on this one. Yeah, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this and return to filming when I've kind of got them at a better stage, because y'all, I really could sit here for an hour plus working in this manner until I have them all yeah, look at the red. I said I felt like red needed to be on there, and red it is. I think I went thinner. So you just feel your way around the pieces. All right, I'm stopping and I will return. Okay, now I'm at a stage where I have drawn and doodled on pretty much all of them. I've got little strips of collage paper on some, and I feel like some of them are really close to being done. And so what I want to do is I want to glue the collage pieces down and trim the edges. That's just visually going to help me, you know, decide what more do I want to do and how far do I want to go. I am using this quick dry adhesive. I really like this for these small projects like this because it literally dries within 60 seconds. So what I do, I'll just start with this one, is I just put some, whoa, okay. Hadn't used it in a while. That's quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is I am definitely gonna get a little messy here. And I'm using my fingers as paintbrushes. And I'm just coating this with the glue, and I'm gonna get it down. And when I say 60 seconds, I literally mean 60 seconds. So you wanna make sure it's where you want it. It does dry clear. If it gets on the outside, press it down real good. Okay, see all this on my finger? We're just gonna lay that down and get it, you know, I get it as close to edge. Ah! I used the finger that has glue on it. Totally forgot. And just press. I will cut the edges off. Ah, oh my goodness, y'all. Not being able to use this finger right here is a challenge. Wow, is that a challenge? You know, it's like if you injure or cut a finger and you can't use it and you have to like use your others. That's, I am there, right? That's me right now. Trying to save glue. Can you believe it? I could just let this glue go, but you know what? I can't because I don't like wasting. So we are not gonna waste this glue. So this will be the last one, and then I will have access to my finger. So I am being mindful. I do like how, you know, it sticks quick, but you can see that you can shimmy it around. But look at it. I mean, this is done. If this were matte medium, it'd still be like slick and moving around. I mean, you kind of, all right, these three are done. You can't beat this stuff. This stuff is really great. So, all right, not so much. Small bead. I'm gonna get it down. See, I use this finger, that's my placement finger. That's why I needed it. All right. So some of these, yeah, I feel like this whole row up top, I feel like those are pretty done, maybe with exception of I would put a couple more marks, you know, like drawing with some Posca. These don't even have any elements on them, so I can move them out of the way. I really like this one. It's almost like plaid, which is really fun. It's very linear. I'm not sure, do I want to, I don't know if I'm going to draw on this one. I have to tell you, like I maybe a couple of dots, but dots would be the most I would put on there. This little guy is just the edge. You can see, look how fast, like this glue really does help you move along pretty quickly. Now I will have to like scrape the glue that has dried on my table. I will have to scrape that off. Let's see, that one's done. Not done, not done. This one's done. Yeah, keeping, you know, I'm just gonna pile them because they're dry, so they're not gonna stick to one another. I have thoughts, like still some more thoughts of where I want to take some of these, like this one. I want to add some blue at the bottom, maybe a little yellow rainbow right here, like arc shape. And this one, I kind of couldn't decide. And normally I would not like cut a circle in half like that, but you know, the placement feels right, and I kind of, I'm gonna do this. This is kind of not my norm, but it works. So sometimes, you know, you got to get out of your own box. Lord knows I've got a box that I like to fit in sometimes, and you got to get out of that box. And that's another reason why I love projects like this, is because it really does kind of push and move you out of some comfort zones, or like just moves you out of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Kind of expands you a bit. Now I'm trying to decide, do I cover the green? Do I leave a little? This feels a little too in the center, which is, I don't like things right in the middle. But then it feels really close to the, so you know what, y'all? I'm breaking a rule here, and I am gonna put it in the middle. And I will fix the way it, I wonder if this one feels, yeah, I like that better. And that's kind of funny too, like turning them, you know, I had it this way, this was how I was creating it, but now I think it should go that direction, you know? Oh, this is such great fun. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm gonna glue the rest of these on and then come back and do a little more drawing. What I do, okay, so here we are. All of these, the collage elements have been glued down. So what I want to show you, I'm just gonna move some out of the way. These need to be chopped, and it's so interesting. Let me pull them back. So, when they're not cut off, they definitely like have a feeling. And then when you chop the sides off, it's like, it's kind of magical how they just shape up, you know? They just, let's see, that's my little extra. Meaning I've got them all like symmetrically laid out, and we had the one that was just the little oddball. So what I typically do is I turn it over. That way I know that I'm getting a really close cut, right? So just chopping, cut, sorry, I went off. It's because I've got a pile of edges, and oh, I just love it. I love, look how great they just look so good when you remove these extra bits. So what I want to do now is draw on a few of them and maybe add a couple of collage elements. One more to cut, and then I shall doodle. Well, actually, so this neon is really fantastic on this one, so I decided I want to put maybe a neon circle in the middle, this neon orange. So I'm just gonna cut, hand cut a circle. It does not have to be perfect. In fact, when they're a little off or wonky, it's even better. I like this. This one might be close to being finished. This one, I wanted to do a yellow rainbow. Nice. Okay. This one, I wanted this to be darker. So if you want the Posca, sometimes the Posca, it goes on kind of light. So if you just go over it again when it's dry, it will deepen. So these I'm just making more round because I had just sort of scribbled on them earlier. This one I actually like scribbled, and this one I like scribbled. So I'm leaving those as scribbles. So back to the blue. Gosh, I think I'm gonna do some blue dots. The back and forth that you go through, and that, see, it just took it to the next, like, uh-oh, just stuck my finger in it again. Well, so now what I'm doing is I'm looking to balance things out. I've got deep blue here. Where else can I put some deep blue? I can put it in this circle right here in the form of little dots. Something should happen here. Not quite sure what yet. Sometimes I sit on a piece, I'll do something on another one, and then that'll be like, oh, that's what I want to do on this one. So this piece, I do just want to add some little dots. You do a lot of pondering. You do just a lot of looking, pondering. This one, I think I want these to go off the sheet. So there. All right. So now you see, I've walked you through the stages. We started with the big 2 12 by 12, basically kind of mixed media paintings, chopped both of them up, got a bunch of little 2.5 by 3.5 size cards, and then I took leftover pieces and started just placing collage elements, mainly in just strips, because that's what I have here, with the exception of this one circle, which I may, hey, how about this? Get another circle, and I think this will be the one. And then drawing on them. And so it's just been a series of back and forth of placing and gluing collage elements, then drawing, then maybe placing some more collage elements, then drawing again. So I am going to stop the camera one more time. I am going to bring these to completion and then show you the finished pieces. Alrighty, I am completely finished. I am happy with them all. Here's my one that doesn't fit in the perfect little square scheme I've got going. So what I did was I didn't add any more collage elements other than circles on these two. And all I did was just continue to add marks with the Posca pens, and then I pulled out a China marker and, you know, doodled in a couple of spaces where there was actually pencil underneath, but the paint had obscured it. You could tell it was there, but not really. So I just, you know, wanted to make it pop. And I used the China marker because it's, you know, it's a wax grease pencil, so it's permanent like the acrylic paint, so it won't smudge or smear. So this is them, and I am going to pick, I think the trade is like 6 to 10 cards I have to send, you know, to the person who is organizing it, and I will get, however many cards I send, I will get that number of cards back from different artists. So that is what an artist trading card is. I should have totally stated that in the beginning, that artist trading cards is cards that you actually trade with other artists. So sometimes people make the same card, you know, like the same, like I've done postcard exchanges before where I kind of did the same design, you know, over and over, maybe different colorations. I just decided to go full on hodgepodge with these, and I just think they're delightful and a ton of fun. And actually, y'all, I could take all of them and glue them down to a white piece of paper, pop it in a frame, and call it a finished work of art, because each individual one really does relate to all of them as a whole, because they came from, and you can tell pretty much which pieces some of them came from what. Others, it's kind of like, well, I'm not really sure. Did this one come from this one, or did it come from that one? Not really sure. But they all are complementary to one another, and they feel very cohesive. So so that's it. I really, this started off with the artist trading in mind, of taking a piece of art and chopping it up into smaller elements for them to be given away. Now, I will tell you, I just noticed pencil marks right here. So I'm just going to do it right now so that you can just see part of the process. There we are. So just bringing those lines that were underneath kind of back to life. And so now what that makes me want, because I added an element, it changed the piece ever so slightly. Now I actually want to do a little something with pencil marks down here. And so this is what I'm going to do. And there we go. There, that's it. I'm not going to add another mark or touch them anymore. They are done. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope it has inspired you to look through old art, find some pieces that you could chop up and turn into either smaller pieces that are going to go back, be put back together to create a whole, or go ahead and pass them out and give them to some friends. So happy creating, y'all.